Welcome to my channel, to everyone who's new here, and of course those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. Bitcoin is currently trading at 108,925 US dollar. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And if you also want to trade with cheap taker fees, then I can recommend you the crypto exchange mexc, which has a similar trading volume to Bitget, OKX and Bybit, but as you can see, I already highlighted you it here, the taker fees are far much lower than on the other top crypto exchanges, and on top of that you can get an additional 20% discount on those low taker fees if you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description. 100 pers, 0 fees, just on mexc, and here you can trade some popular altcoins without any fees on mexc. So let's get to Bitcoin. What did we say and what are we going to expect? We have set here the white trend line. If it breaks to the downside on the smaller time frame and we got the retest, then the chance is high that we should meet the 107,250 US dollar. We wicked lower than that, but not a lot. $400 less than $107,250, it's okay. As long as we hold the 103,530 US dollar, then I can still say Bitcoin has a good chance pushing to the upside with a new all-time high. So, what do I see here? I see here, I don't know if this here can be a left shoulder, but at least the head and the right shoulder looks good to me. With its push to the upside over the 108,520 US dollar, we already worked off the length of the right shoulder. Here you can see it, so I can take this one out. I can imagine that we drop a bit more into the 108,520 US dollar to retest this trend line again, and afterwards work off the head of the head and shoulders formatation. Target 110,310 US dollar. So that's here the length of the head. We put that to our breakout point. It might be possible, since we have some fair value gaps lower than us, that we wick lower than the 108,500 US dollar, like this. But as long as we get bought up very fast, we still have the chance to meet the 110,000 US dollar. So I have put you here a green trend line on the chart. That green trend line is for me a trigger where I would say if we break it to the upside, then the chance is very high that we meet the all-time high here. Somewhere in the area between 112,500 US dollar to 115,000 US dollar, but the 113,000, and let's take the price mark of now, 113,730 US dollar is going to get us resistance. That's in weekly, it's in trend line on the weekly chart where we have connected all the all-time highs since 2017 or 18 with each other. So that trend line is going to give us some resistance. So overall, the target of the head and shoulders formatation and the green trend line, they are having its cross. And the cross is, I think 6, 10, 13 hours away. So in 13 hours, those trend lines are going to meet each other. And if we then get a break over it in 13 hours, it doesn't have to be in 13 hours exactly, but what I want to see is breaking both trend lines to the upside. It's not enough that we break the 110,000, how much was it? 110,300 US dollar to the upside and get rejected here again. I want to see both breaking to the upside with a retest on the green trend line or on the 110,300 US dollar, and afterwards the push to the upside. Then I would say new all-time high for Bitcoin is incoming with a very high chance. So, I missed it. This one and this one. So that's the plan for Bitcoin at the moment. What about Ethereum? Ethereum looks, I would say much worse than Bitcoin. Bitcoin has the chance to do a new all-time high. Maybe even the push into the 113,000 US dollar. I doubt that Ethereum is going to take out this top here once Bitcoin is having a new all-time high. We are far away from the top. We sold off 8.5%, and if we take the current price, we are at 6.5% in minus from the top. So basically, what kind of push do we need? 8%. So we need 7% to the upside. Bitcoin doesn't need that much. So basically, we have also bearish patterns on the chart for Ethereum. We have a bullish one for Bitcoin. What does it tell me? We have said here that we have a triangle on the smaller time frame. Those chart patterns can get invalidated very fast because we are on the 50 minutes time frame. If we go into the 1 hour, 4 hour and 8 hour chart, then the chart patterns are far better and far more safer. But for sure on the smaller time frame we are getting far more chart patterns and we can use them as orientation. I personally don't like to trade them. Sometimes I do, but it depends on the market stage. At the moment, it's still too dangerous to trade, in my opinion, on the smaller time frame. Anyway, we broke it to the downside, we got its retest, and we got the follow through. We almost met the target, 2,473 US dollar, but we still didn't even fill the fair value gap up here. We didn't. So what can I expect if we have formed over the past 10 hours a rising wedge which broke to the downside on the smaller time frame? Maybe this was already the retest, or we are getting up again, retesting it again. If we after that break the white trend line to the downside, I will put you here price mark. This is very, very close. 2,550 US dollar. If they break to the downside, then the chance is very high that we are going to meet the target of this rising wedge. If I put it to our breakout point, 2,500, wrong one, here, 2,510 US dollar is going to be the target, and the 2,510 US dollar is the support which we have built up. We bounce on that trend line 2 times. I don't like trend lines with 2 touch points, but I can't find anything better at the moment. So if we get there a 3rd time and we bounce on that trend line, then I know that the trend line is valid. And if the 2,510 US dollar breaks to the downside, target 2,475 US dollar, next target 2,383 US dollar, and the more bearish one 2,324 US dollar. Just because, let's assume we get to 2,325 US dollar, that's the more bearish scenario, but it's not bearish yet. So if we break it to the downside and we get a nice bounce here, then we have still the chance to meet the 2,850 US dollar for Bitcoin, which is here resistance. Let's go into the 4-hour chart, then you can see it. We have got rejected on the 2,850 US dollar quite often, 2 times, and here I have another trend line which is even close to the 2,850 US dollar, but it's on the 8-hour chart, and then you can see it. To zoom out a bit, you can see it here already. We bounce on it right here, got rejected, got support in this stage, here support. So this price mark here also got rejected. So the 2,850 US dollar or even 2,875 US dollar, that's a resistance block where I would say it is difficult breaking to the upside. So we have so many price tags here. You see almost nothing on the chart. You see only numbers. But look at the orange trend line. If I draw you this, then you can see that's a double top pattern. If we break the 2,325 US dollar to the downside, which would activate that double top pattern, then the target of the double top pattern is the 1,900 US dollar. So keep that in mind. If the 2,325 US dollar breaks to the downside, then it's bearish to me. On the small time frame right now, where we have a bearish pennant or a triangle which broke to the downside, we also had on the 50 minutes chart a rising wedge which broke to the downside. That is on the short term bearish, yes, but on the midterm we are still bullish for Ethereum. Yeah, it can just be a pullback. Just look into Ethereum, for example. This pullback which we got here, everyone was bearish again. Look what happened afterwards. So if we even form here a higher low, then we can even get another top. So I keep that option open. I don't see any bullish chart patterns at the moment. That's why I'm not trading long. I have to wait for bullish patterns, like for example, which we had here, the bull flag, which we broke to the upside, which we got a retest, and the follow through. That we want to see and that we want to trade. I don't want to jump into a long position when bearish patterns broke to the downside. But what can I do with those bearish chart patterns? I also don't want to short. Okay, but I still have the targets. So depending on my trading strategy, if I want to accumulate Ethereum, then for example, I can buy some Ethereum at 2,510 US dollar, 2,473 US dollar, 2,383 US dollar, 2,325 US dollar. I can buy them there. But if we break to the downside, then we need to buy more and more. And most people, I tell you that, most people fail because let's imagine I put here $100 into Ethereum. If I want to double up, then I have to put here another $100. If I want to double up afterwards, then I have $200 position size. My average price is somewhere here. Then I have to buy here $200. If I do that, average price is afterwards here. If I buy here again, Ethereum, and I want to double up, then I have 400 US dollars. Means I have to put here 400 US dollars. Now let's keep that circle as 0. Average price here. If we afterwards break to the downside, and let's assume we buy all the time Ethereum just to lower our average price, then we have to put here $800. Here 1.6k. Here 3.2k. And what if we break more and more? 6.4k. Afterwards 13k, 12.8k, and so on and so on. After a long time, you will see you have to put $100,000 or even 1 million US dollars to double up your position. Otherwise, you can't lower your average price anymore. So I would be very careful with that. If you do one mistake, then you can't help yourself with it, because it starts slowly, but over the time, if you already have an Ethereum position which is worth 1,000 US dollar, and Ethereum is dropping and you want to lower your average price, then you need at least another $500, but then you didn't lower your price a lot. You need another $1,000. You need afterwards 5,000 US dollar. You need 10,000 US dollar to get your average price down. So keep that in mind. And afterwards, you are still 30% in losses. Then Ethereum needs to make 30% pushes to the upside, which is also not realistic if we are in the bear market, if this was the start of the bear market. So I would be very, very careful with that kind of accumulation. With smaller money, okay, it's possible. But that's why I don't like to accumulate at this market stage. People always say, buy the dip, buy the dip. The question is this the dip which you want to buy? Or is it this? Or do we get another dip to the downside, which you want to buy? Maybe we get this dip. Do you want to buy it? You have bought every dip already. So buying every dip is, in my view, not smart. It is not smart. You will lose more money and more money because you have to put in more money. And if you still continue buying the dip, then you are not in profits. Otherwise, you wouldn't buy the dip, right? So I hope that I gave you some valuable information with this video, also with accumulating Bitcoin and Ethereum. If I want to buy Ethereum, and I like to buy Ethereum, I will buy Ethereum in the next bear market. Means if this push here, even if we get to 4,000 US dollar, if this push is over and we get something like this where we get lower than 1.5k, as you can see, we already got here to 1.4k and it wasn't still the bear market yet. If we get here lower than 1k, 1.5k, 1,250 US dollar, then I can accumulate Ethereum in my opinion, and there I will buy Ethereum. But everything what is up here, I think on the long run, it might be losses. I want to see breakouts, I want to see retests, then I'm ready to trade on the short term. At the moment, I'm not buying any coins. Instead, I'm just trying to trade, make some quick money with it, so I have more money to invest once the bear market doesn't start, where it's almost finished. There I want to buy. So now, I hope that I gave you some valuable information and we see each other in the altcoin update.